Hello and welcome back to another episode of Better Business Bureau's Smart Consumer. In each episode, we try to bring you the latest in consumer, business, marketplace issues and trends, scams, and how to protect yourself. As the title of the program tells us, BBB Smart Consumer is aimed at helping us make sound buying decisions in an ever-changing marketplace. Let's get right to it. We don't think much about turning on a light switch or a television or a stove and so on. That's the way it's always been for us and how we always expected things to run. Of course, it wasn't always like that. At one point, there was a tug of war between one system that would use direct current, DC, like we'd find in batteries, and alternating current, AC, which we use now in our homes. Well, one of the big challenges when AC power was deemed to be the most efficient to develop was to find a way to generate and deliver it. Again, it's not something we give much thought to. But there is much more that goes on behind the scenes to ensure that the system works and works efficiently. Our guest for this program is someone who can tell us all about that system, Eversource spokesman Mitch Gross. Mitch, welcome to the show.
Howard, thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Excellent. Well, Eversource. We used to know Eversource by a number of different names.
True.
And what happened exactly?
Well, in 2012, we merged. We merged with NStar of Boston. Prior to that, you knew us as Northeast Utilities, you knew us by Connecticut Light and Power, Yankee Gas. There were a lot of brand names. We came together with NStar out of Boston in 2012, and then we changed the name 3 years later after exhaustive studies and tests to Eversource. Something simple, something our customers could easily connect with. It's one name, we're one company. We're across 3 states still. We're Connecticut, we're Massachusetts, and we're New Hampshire, but everywhere, we're Eversource.
And there was no big confusion among consumers, was there?
We don't believe so. In fact, we believe it's been a huge plus for consumers. It's much easier. Who's my electric company? Eversource. Who may be my natural gas company? Eversource. There's no more confusion anymore. Do I make the check out to Connecticut Light and Power or to Yankee Gas or to Northeast Utilities? And if I want to contact the company, which company do I contact? You contact Eversource.
Do you have any sort of statistics on how much electricity the average home uses as opposed to an apartment?
Well, we have most of our customers, we have 1.25 million customers in the state of Connecticut, electric customers. And those are in 149 of the state's 169 towns, all right? And while I'm giving out statistics, on the natural gas side, we have 229,000 customers in 73 of the state's 169 towns. So we're all over the place. The average, most of our electric consumers, to answer your question, are what we call rate 1. They use electricity for everything but heat. And most of the 1.25 million are in that category. The average customer, whether they are in a home or an apartment, it's somewhere between 23 and 24 kilowatt hours a day. Unless you are looking at your bill very closely, that may not mean much to someone watching this program, but that's the average. And it comes to, based on current prices, it's somewhere in the $130 to $135 a month. That's what it comes down to.
And
the average Eversource Connecticut electric customer.
And that price will obviously vary according to the season and what appliances we're using.
Oh yeah, yes, absolutely. Appliances you're using, what you set your thermostat to, be it for the air conditioning or when the snow finally falls and the heat goes on. There are all kinds of variables in there, but in that range, that's the. And I guess I should use air quotes here, but that's the average customer, the average electric customer.
Right. Let's look into history a little bit.
Okay.
When was Connecticut's electric infrastructure put into place?
So very late 1800s. So you trace our history back, and it goes way back to late 19th century with the Hartford Electric Company. And from there were a number of mergers and acquisitions between companies, and then became the Connecticut Light and Power, and then became Northeast Utilities, and today's Eversource. But yes, I should say very late 19th century, the very late 1800s. That's when we started wiring up Connecticut, so to speak.
There's a little bit of confusion among consumers as to where our electricity comes from. They think about coal-fired plants, or they might think about,
Okay.
For example, atomic plants. Is that something that Eversource uses to generate our electricity?
Okay. There are so many pieces to the question. Okay, let's start with, we are your electric delivery company, all right? We're kind of like your FedEx or your UPS. We don't generate in Connecticut. Back in January 1st, 2000, deregulation took effect by decree of the legislature and signature of the governor at that time. Deregulation, which means we were no longer in the generating business. We are strictly a delivery company. Having said that, we also have to get that power from somewhere to deliver to our customers. So for most of our customers, over 70% of them, we buy power from a number of different sources throughout New England, generators, and deliver that power to our customers. Now, where does that power come from? There are all types of generation out there, but by and far, most power in New England is generated using natural gas. If there's an organization called ISO New England, Independent System Operator of New England. You can actually go on their website, on the homepage, and every day they track the mixture of electrons, so to speak. Where's the power coming from? In fact, I went on before you and I sat down today. As of today, at this moment, 61% of all power being generated in New England is coming from natural gas. Another 28% is coming from nuclear facilities in New England. From there, it drops down to 7% for renewables, another 2% for hydro-powered facilities, and then less than 1% come from a coal-fired plant or a oil-burning plant. So by and far, it's natural gas, and a distant second place, it's nuclear here in Connecticut, and across New England, I should say.
And that's good in terms of not only the image of Eversource, obviously, but it's something that consumers should know about.
Right. Natural gas is becoming more and more popular. Not only is it being used by most generators across New England to supply power to the energy companies throughout the region, but it's becoming more popular here in Connecticut. Natural gas is being seen as, it's clean, it's economical, it's an alternative to oil, and most customers here in Connecticut still heat with oil. However, we're seeing a gradual expansion and more interest by customers in possibly getting into the natural gas area instead to heat, to cook, or for whatever purposes.
Okay. Let's switch gears if we can for just a moment. For the last few years, there have been scams involving people who would call on the telephone and tell people that if you don't give me money by a certain time, we will cut off your electricity.
Yes.
Can we talk a little bit about when this started and how you folks have dealt with it?
When it started, it's been ongoing for, unfortunately, many years. It has ramped up over the past, I'd say, 3 to 5 years. I think first thing your viewers ought to know is if you get such a call demanding immediate payment, claiming they're from Eversource, we're going to cut you off right away, hang up the phone. Hang up the phone. It is absolutely a scam. We don't do business in that manner, ever. All right? So we need to put that out front. All right? That's not the way we operate. If you get a call such as that, we ask that you hang up. We recommend you call us and let us know. You may want to call your local police and let them know as well. We track these types of calls. We report these calls to the regulators, PURA, the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority based in New Britain. They know what's going on as well as far as these scams. I always like to say, don't panic, don't pay. And unfortunately, people do panic. They haven't gotten the message. They're in the midst of something. They misunderstood the call. We've seen issues where, for instance, these scammers, they're very sharp. All right, they're very shrewd. They're very sharp. They'll, for instance, not only will they call a residential customer, threaten, call business customers. Like, for instance, lunch hour, when a place like a local restaurant, and the place it's slammed. The owner's really busy. Suddenly they get the call. they go into a panic, and they pay. And it's unfortunate. And we're constantly trying to educate our customers via social media, via programs like this. We've worked with you at the Better Business Bureau. We've had a campaign. This is actually, it's not a Connecticut-only issue. It is not a New England-only issue. It is a national issue. Every energy company in the United States, and probably North America, has been dealing with this. These groups and individuals, they're very shrewd, they're very smart, and they're constantly working the phones, trying to find victims. And unfortunately, they continue to find victims, and as long as they continue to do, and they continue to get paid, unfortunately, they're going to stay in business until people finally realize, cut them off, hang up the phone, don't panic, don't pay. And if you get a call like that, and you do have a question about your bill, just call us. Our customer service folks are great. They'll put up your utility, your energy bill on their screen in front of them. They'll go over things with you. You'll know exactly where you are, and you can rest assured, we're watching out. We're continuing to educate, and we'll keep, waving that red flag. Don't panic, don't pay.
Now, you and I have discussed in the past
Yes.
the scammer's toolkit, and one of the greatest ones is fear.
Yes.
And I think to a degree, people don't understand that the world doesn't work that in such a way that government agencies, financial institutions, utilities will call you and bully you over the telephone.
That's right. We will not. We do not. It's unfortunate, if you do have an issue with your bill, we will contact you by mail. You will get a letter that very clearly lays out the situation, what your current situation is. You need to contact us. We want to work with you. That's the way we do business. We've had an interesting one come in recently. In fact, I just got an email the other day. It was, and these scammers, they're working East Granby, of all places. All right, and it was a call claiming that they're working with Eversource. That's another red flag when they say that. If they say, I'm a partner, I'm working with Eversource, I'm going to offer you discounted power, we're going to cut you off right away. There are all kinds of the types of language they use, which isn't us. Well, this call, and I'm told these are robocalls. They're saying, you've been such a great customer, you've kept up your payments, we're going to give you a 15% discount, and here's all you have to do. And you provide them with information about your account and things like that. That's another page in the scam book, so to speak. Your billing information, your address, a birthday, a social security number, things like that. That's another thing to watch out for. So they're out there. We urge our customers to be alert, be smart. Just be smart and question. Hang up the phone. Somebody comes to your door, close the door if you're not really sure. Be smart.
We're from a generation where you don't hang up the phone on somebody. You don't slam the door in their face. But this is 2017.
Yes.
And our telephones are now our front door. So is the internet. And speaking of front doors and bullies and all the rest of it, sometimes people will have, actually it happened to me, a representative who showed up at my door, claimed that he worked for a utility wholesaler. He quickly opened up his wallet to show me his supposed identification.
Okay.
And all he had around his neck was an orange tag with the numbers 4398.
Wow.
And it was rare that I even opened up the door, but I wanted to see what game he was playing. So I said, what company are you? And all the rest of it. He was very short on information. Then he got short on patience, and I said, thank you very much, but please leave. And then he started swearing at me, which,
wow,
another red flag.
Yes.
But there are times where, in a legitimate sense, people will come to your door because they are doing contract work for the utility. What's the process for that?
Typically, they come to your door, it's an emergency, all right? That's first and foremost. There may be situations, though there may be situations where they have to come to your door. There are very few situations where they would have to come in your house. So if they try that right away, it's time to close the door. Close the door, call Eversource, call your local police, get your questions answered, verify who these people are. All Eversource employees, we have employee identification. It's very unique. It has certain branding to it. It has certain codes and elements to it that the average person won't know. Ask to see the identification. If they say they're from Eversource, they will be more than happy to show you their badge. All right, it's very clear who we are. If you look at it and you're still not sure, close the door. All right, call and ask, and our representatives will clarify or help to clarify the situation. Do we have crews out there working? Are contractors representing us in your neighborhood? They'll know it, they'll confirm, or they'll tell you they're not with us.
And the key, though, is they don't come into your house. So if somebody says, I'm from the utility, and they want to come in, they could be casing your home for a
Which,
potential
as you well know, we have seen reports like that from time to time all over the state. Yes, they come in, typically 2 or more. One distracts the homeowner, and the other is busy supposedly looking at the equipment, but unfortunately maybe casing, as we like to say, casing the joint.
Right.
And and some very bad people out there take advantage of people in those situations.
Let's finish the scam part if we can.
Sure.
Another thing, this sounds like an awful lot of scams that we hear about, telephone or front door. And one of the big red flags, and I'm sure you hear about it, is a forced method of payment, and usually untraceable. If they say you haven't paid up, we will cut your electricity unless you either give us the personal information or pay by... There are certain credit cards. They ask you to go to your nearby Walmart and pick up a certain brand of credit card.
It's amazing. We've had situations where they would call the customer, say, go get this credit card and meet me at this convenience store down the block, and you can pay me there. Thankfully, that customer, all the bells went off right away. They understood. But yes, they try to get you to pay by certain credit cards, and all I need is the number and things like that. And unfortunately, some people have been caught for some big sums of money. I mean, 4 figures. It's really, really sad. When we get reports like that, it's, we just have to keep pushing, keep educating, keep reminding customers, ask, stop, don't panic, don't pay, ask us. We'll tell you what the situation is with your account. And consumer education is the biggest tool we have in our toolbox to protect ourselves. Consumer education is key, and we through us, through you, through your local law enforcement, through the state, through the regulators, there are messages out there all the time as reminders, and we hope that our customers they take them to heart. They do take them seriously, and they do stop and they question. And there's tremendous relief, because I am finding from the complaints we get, people who call in, that people are catching on to many of the techniques, such as the untraceable payment methods. Gift cards are one of the ways they want people to pay. Yes. Or wire transfer. Western Union and MoneyGram are now watching out for people as best they can. But Eversource is not going to ask for an untraceable form. We're not going to ask for a gift card. We're not going to ask for an untraceable card. We certainly don't ask you to wire us money. You get your energy bill once a month. It's very clear how to pay. Some people like to pay online. Some people still write that check and send it in. It's still a very, it's a proven and simple system. All right, let me put it that way. Okay. Now, when the mercury drops very, very low, as happens here, that's when people will tend to respond, I would think, the fastest to these threats. But there is protection for consumers about having their electricity turned off, even if they are in arrears. Yes, there's a winter protection program that helps you from shutoffs during the winter months. You must sign up for that. You don't automatically qualify because you're having a problem with your energy bill. You must call us, you must apply for it, you must sign up. There's certain steps you must take. Yes, we have winter protection, but we always, before it gets to that point, we always encourage customers, please call us, please explain your situation, and we realize people, there are some tough, people they have some tough times now and then. We get it, all right, we get it. Don't wait until it gets to that point. Don't wait until you're in a panic. Call us and let us know the situation. Perhaps there's a way, there's a program, there are state programs out there, there's the 211 information line, there's Operation Fuel, there are different sources of help out there, along with the ability to simply call us and say, look, I'm having a tough time, can we work something out? Perhaps we can work something out with you.
This is great stuff. We could probably go on for 2 hours. We have about 2 minutes left.
Really? Okay.
It goes very quickly. And I wanted to ask you about ways of saving money beyond the regular kind of things we hear, the windows and replacing our doors. I had an energy audit done.
Nice.
And if you could just explain, we paid $124 for it, and they put in almost 2 days of work. What do we get for that?
It is called Home Energy Solutions. It is by far our most popular energy efficiency program. It's through the Energize Connecticut state program, which is administered by Eversource, by United Illuminating in the greater New Haven area, and by the natural gas companies. You're a utility, you're an energy company customer, you qualify. It's simply, dialing 877-WISE-USE or going to energizect.com for information. Just sign up. These contractors go attic to basement. It is weather stripping, caulking. It is door sweeps. It is water saving measures. It is changing out your old incandescents for the energy saving LED light bulbs. Unfortunately, Howard, the price is going up a little now. It's $149. For most customers. If certain customers meet income eligibility guidelines, the service is free. But if you pay the $149, it's going to pay for itself right off the top. The average customer saves easily $200 or more in their first year. So it's definitely worth it. I'm glad you had it done. Yes. It is the way to go. Don't wait and let all that warm air rush out during the cold winter months, or when it's still warm, all the air conditioning goes out through those cracks and seams.
Yeah, nobody wants to heat or cool the county.
Thank you. That's exactly right.
Mitch, it's been wonderful to see you and work with you like this today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hope to work with you again soon. Thanks for joining us.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
Take care now. Well, that's it for this edition of BBB Smart Consumer. Once again, many thanks to Mitch Gross, the spokesman for Eversource. We hope you enjoyed the show and learned a few things. And at the end of each episode, I urge you to share what you've learned with family, friends, and neighbors. If we can help protect at least one person who's watching from marketplace scams, or if we told you something you don't know about, then it was well worth it. Better Business Bureau Serving Connecticut would like to express its gratitude to Nutmeg for providing the facilities and wonderful staff who help us produce this program. Finally, thank you for letting us into your home. We'll see you next time on Better Business Bureau's Smart Consumer. I'm Howard Schwartz. Take care.